We've always had a very active seniors group here, and they basically were the ones who originally came here to Winnipeg from Vancouver, and so they were a very supportive group of each other and of everyone who came along. And so they decided that they needed a meeting place. You know, they used to get together in people's homes and whatnot, and they amassed quite a bit of equipment themselves, you know, tables, chairs, this sort of thing, and they had it stored in various people's homes because they always felt they would like to get a place where, you know, they can have all this equipment and so on. So they initiated looking for some place for the community, and along with members of the JCCA, the Manitoba Japanese Canadian Citizens Association, who existed at that time for community. And together they finally located a small building. It was an old bank building, and so our initial cultural center started there. But after a few years it became too small for us because our center was very active. So we moved here then, and through Redress Foundation we were able to purchase this property. It was an old Suzuki dealership, but it was a very good location because it has the parking lot and so on, you know, and we renovated the interior then. And we kept adding to it. We built on a small gym in the back then, so that all of these martial arts groups in the community could come and practice here. And so we tried to be inclusive of a number of groups, you know, for our community. And this became a focal point for our community then. And we've had a really close relationship with Setagaya, which is Winnipeg's sister city. So we've had many events and visits from groups from Setagaya that our center has been involved with, and we've, you know, worked with the city of Winnipeg to plan some of their visits and trips. We engaged in programs that would bring in the general public as well to help, you know, educate and to give them some of our culture and heritage and so on. And those have been very popular, so we had an extensive membership then because all of these people started becoming members of the center. And as fundraising, a lot of our fundraising has to do with things like we run a donburi lunch every second Friday during the year, open to the public, and those are really popular, and we have people coming in for the lunches. We have orders coming in, and we do deliver to some groups like schools and the hospital and so on, the RCMP, whoever sends in a large enough order. And we run cuisine nights, which are dinners here, open again to the general public. Also cultural programs such as flower arranging or sushi making workshops, Japanese card making, those have been popular as well. So we draw from the greater community as well as just our community. So it's been very good, and it keeps evolving and expanding, and we run a lot of language classes, and those have expanded over the years as well. And the last couple of years now we've been accredited with the Department of Education, so we can offer language programs that high school students can take and get a high school credit. Another major program that we run is a public schools program, and this is for elementary school students. Every Thursday morning during the school year, we run this program. Various schools all over the city, as well as just outside the city, from Selkirk, Toulon, and so on, book dates with us, and they come in, and for their students it's a field trip. And they spend the morning here then, and they go to various activities. They're divided and go to various activities, origami, shodo. They learn to write their names in Japanese on headbands, and they get to wear a little happi, and they learn a Japanese folk dance. And they learn a little bit of vocabulary, And that's very popular. It's fully booked usually for the whole year. And sometimes there's a waiting list. It's always been fairly stable in that our numbers don't grow that much. You know, most people, if they emigrate, they go to Vancouver or Toronto. So we've always been a very small community, but very active and very actively supportive of the center and of the, activities of the community at large. So I know even in the past, when we didn't have the center, people in the community always supported all the main groups. So if the Buddhist church had a bazaar, everybody would attend and go to that. If the United Church had a bazaar, everybody would go to that and support. So it's always been very supportive and a very, close-knit group, But we are already into the Sansei. Like people, art sage even, like you'll be seeing art, he's a Sansei. So I mean, we're into Yonsei, Gosei even, and that's the difficult challenge, I think, is to keep those younger people coming and being a part of the community. And, I think the face of our community is evolving and changing. We are a community that is so assimilated. We have the highest intermarriage rate of anyone in this country. It's at 98% or whatever. And so, to bring in all of these people and to keep this community going too is a challenge. I know that we do have many of the spouses coming and joining, and helping out. But so it's a major challenge for us to bring in the youth especially too. And the younger people, they're involved with their families, they have young children, their children are involved in sports, music, whatever. So it's hard to get them to commit to coming here, but they do support and they do come out for events, where they will help out with a single event or this sort of thing, but not sort of an ongoing commitment. So that's the difficult part, is to get, but we are lucky in that we do have hundreds of volunteers who help us with many of our things, like our schools program and so on. And many of the newcomers are helping with the language program. And, shortly after redress, I know that the Chinese Canadian group and the Ukrainian group were also, very actively seeking some kind of redress for themselves. And our communities then supported them a lot. The Aboriginal groups, our communities have become very involved with a lot of the Aboriginal issues. The National Association has written letters to ministers on their behalf. So it's been an ongoing, very active support of the other groups. And I think that many in our community feel that it is up to us to help support others as well. And we did receive a lot of support from the greater community, and that we should also be returning that support.